while I invite Anil, who's been patiently listening to everybody. And I would request him to kindly, I'm sure, it's given you a lot of food for thought and reflection. So I'm going to help you build a kind of a scenario here by giving you um, a few pointers. Actually, no, I don't think I should do that. Anil, I'm going to give you the ground and possibly come after you've shared your reflection. Probably I'll come in then. So go ahead, Anil. The floor is all yours. We're all ears to the reflections that you've gathered out of these talks.
Okay, thank you, Meenakshi. Can you hear me?
Certainly, we can.
Okay. First of all, thank you so much for inviting me to your event. It's great to be here with all the other speakers. Let me just very briefly point out how you and I got together. I came to India and I was mainly based in Silicon Valley, and I came here for personal reasons. But AI became a very hot topic, as you know, in the last couple of years. And I was encouraged to start an online certification course for 6 months on called the Transformative Teaching with AI, Practices and Approaches in Education. It seems that there were lots of teachers who were very interested in learning about how AI could be deployed, but there were very few trainers. So we set up this unique 6-month certification course over here in India. And we had, in fact, over 300 professors and teachers enrolled. And we covered over 26 sessions every Saturday. There was a session for half an year, right from the start as to how AI got started to all the different leading edge applications that were available, some of the platforms that were available, as well as some training exercises, and then finally some panel discussions on how to do rapid prototyping as we ended the course. And of course, out of maybe 26 speakers, 22 were mainly from the US, Silicon Valley, New York, or Boston. But we had key speakers from India, including Vinny Jauhari, Meenakshi Oberoi, Sanjay Jain, who heads AI in education at Google, and so forth. Right now, what we found out was that lots of teachers did not have a good idea of AI. Of course, ChatGPT in the last couple of years has become very hot. But for instance, people were surprised that researchers have been working on AI for the last 60 years. So my good analogy is take the internet and the World Wide Web. The internet was existed since the 60s. DARPA, which is Defense Advanced Research Projects Agency in the US military, funded it. And we were all using the internet while we were doing our masters, PhDs, and so forth. But it was in 1989 that Tim Berners-Lee came out with the World Wide Web. And suddenly things opened up. Your sister, brother, grandmother, parents, they could immediately start using the World Wide Web. And look at it where we are now 35 years later. I just got back from the US about 3 weeks ago. I haven't gone to a single store. I'm getting my groceries and my other household items directly by ordering through the web. And I am getting the things faster, cheaper, and better without the wide range of things available. So similarly, AI, we've been working on it since the 60s, whether it's knowledge representation, whether it's planning, whether it's computer vision, natural language processing, and a whole bunch of different areas. But what happened was 2.5 years ago, the algorithms became very powerful, and especially these generative AI algorithms. ChatGPT got released by OpenAI, and suddenly things changed. It was just like when the World Wide Web became available to the ordinary public, AI suddenly became available to the ordinary public. Okay? And since then, a tremendous interest has grown, and in particularly in education, since each country wants to build its future workforce. So leveraging AI in education and having AI educated students is a key proposition for everyone. Okay. So that's now where we are right now is, there's a huge promise of AI in education. Um, it's basically redefining teaching, learning, and administration. Personalized learning, I feel several of the speakers have mentioned it, is in fact, in my opinion, the holy grail of deploying AI in education. In fact, in our course, we had some leading edge people presenting their applications, including Ram Prasad presenting Guru Navigator. He was formerly head of Google Maps in India. And using the same analogy, they built an application where you know where the student is currently, you know the destination point that the student needs to go to, and you create a path towards that destination using these smaller competency boxes. So you go through the competency path to reach that particular destination. Or you have people like Steve Ritter at Carnegie Learning, a pioneer in intelligent tutoring systems, who are deploying personalized learning in their Mathia application over the last couple of decades, and other applications as well. You have people like Satya Nita working on Merlin Mind, which is again a personalized teaching assistant. This is meant to assist teachers as the teacher is walking around a particular classroom, maybe through Bluetooth earphones, is getting information about each student, how they performed in the last test, what their weaknesses was, perhaps how they should be, what sort of recommendation they should get in terms of further learning opportunities and stuff like that, okay? So personalized learning is, in fact, I think, a key value proposition that AI brings to education. Also, it's going to enhance the efficiency for educators. We know that almost 55 to 60% of educators feel overloaded, and they definitely need some reduction in workload. So these intelligent tutoring systems would provide that sort of capability. They're not only these specific point applications which are very focused, but then you have the platform vendors who are continuously improving the capabilities of their suites. That includes Google, that includes Microsoft, that includes Adobe, and so forth. I noticed that several of you mentioned immersive experiences while reading textbooks. In fact, one of the teams that we had for our course was from Adobe. They are working with Dr. Dakua Wong at Northeastern University. And even for small kids, how can you, instead of a kid asking their parents about a particular story, why such and such thing happened, they can talk to the book. And the book has a chip inside it where it can talk back, and using AI, actually answer the small child's questions as the child is reading the book. And this approach can be used for other textbooks as well, correct? You also have, we had Christine DeSerbo, who was Chief Knowledge Officer at Khan Academy, and we were discussing Khanmigo and how maybe the next version of Khanmigo will provide an immersive interface through which you can interact with the character in a literary book. So you might interact with Hamlet, or in The Great Gatsby, the main protagonist over there, and ask your questions. This is also going to raise the level of interest that students have in those topics, because now they can ask questions, they can go off to different areas of curiosity they might have and get responses immediately instead of doing their own research or waiting for some answer, okay? So I think that it is going to be challenging in terms of AI adoption, especially in India on a wide scale. And I think whole school AI integration is complex. It requires infrastructure training and mindset shifts. The way we finalized our discussions in the panels were that let's narrow down into one or two areas where certain key educators are interested in deploying AI, whether it's for assessments or curriculum planning or personalized learning. Build a small team of highly interested people. And I think Winnie mentioned it that there has to be a great vision and relentless passion of a leader. I would say that is a must, that there should be somebody who is a mentor and passionately wants to move forward with this endeavor. Build a team, decide on what applications to build, and then essentially find out which products you need to build those applications, negotiate with the vendors. If you have multiple schools in your school system, such as, let's say, the Jaipuria schools, where there might be 5 or 6 or 7 such schools, or maybe 20 if you include the franchises, then you might want to have a more detailed discussion and negotiation about the platform to be used across these schools. Okay, so the other thing that several of you mentioned was equity concerns, that not all schools have equal access to AI tools or infrastructure, and that creates a digital divide. And I agree about that. But I think AI can help change things there too, even with smaller infrastructure. Let me give you an example. When I came back from the US, I noted that, well, I traveled on the Delhi metro for the first time. And here I was with a suit and a Rolex watch in the metro, air conditioned, in time, efficient. And there were other people, maybe street vendors, who were in their slippers, and they were experiencing the same benefits that I was at the same cost. So I feel that after COVID, especially when training and lessons became available on through their smartphones, many poorer people were beginning to gain benefits as well. Example being, for instance, my maid's daughter. She was very keen on learning, did a lot of work through the internet on her smartphone. And guess what? She actually got selected at Jesus and Mary College to do her bachelor's degree, one of the elite colleges of the Delhi University system. Okay, so I think that sort of equity can be brought not only to people who are socially divided, but also people who are differently enabled. There are applications helping blind people or people who have hearing problems, people who have other types of mental issues, for instance. And these applications, which are AI based, are available now to help these type of students as well. Okay, so finally, I would say ethical and data privacy concerns are important, and schools must ensure responsible AI use while safeguarding student data. So these are some of the key points that I wanted to make. And now, Meenakshi, let's go on with the questions you might have.
Absolutely. No, I think more than questions, what I would want is probably to take just wrap up what you've just said and so beautifully put. I think human-centered AI still remains. If you look at the speakers who've across the board mentioned, the heart lied either with the educator or with the student. So what I'm looking at here is human agency will remain at the core. It is the co-designing of the learning program that will happen with the help of AI. And of course, ethics is something that you cannot really shun. We've seen how social media has been adopted in an unstructured, random manner across age groups. And now countries like Australia are waking up to say, we're going to ban that. And, we're going to think about why do we need social media for students who are, or children who are 16 or lower the age. So what we need right now, like all of us said, this is an opportunity for us to pause, have a very structured approach to what, we have been doing, and take it ahead in a very thought of manner, because you see, random approaches will die down with time, and we definitely are not here for that. We are a big time advocate of, taking long-term decisions which are sustainable, like we said in the beginning. And I think we would like to rest our belief out there. So thank you, everybody on the Leaders Roundtable for, such a heartwarming, a word from each one of you. And I think you gave us a lot of food for thought.